Lucy, once known for her sweet and obedient nature, had always been the epitome of perfect behavior. However, a peculiar change had come over her, leaving everyone perplexed. Instead of her usual demeanor, she fixated on a particular sidewalk drain, capturing everyone's curiosity. The reason behind her unusual fixation remained a baffling mystery until the moment they finally decided to open up the drain, revealing a shocking truth. In South Africa, a young family embarked on a heartwarming journey to welcome Lucy into their loving home. The family consisted of two parents on the cusp of retirement and their two teenagers, who were about to step into adulthood. Their shared love for dogs brought back fond memories of a cherished pet from the children's early years. With the parents' guidance, they proposed a unique opportunity, adopting a new dog and training it together as a family. This experience would serve as a valuable lesson for the kids, allowing them to understand the responsibilities that come with caring for another living being as they grew older. Enthusiastically, the children embraced the idea, and the family made a unanimous decision to proceed. They began their search by visiting various shelters, seeking the perfect companion that would harmonize with their family dynamics. It proved to be a patient endeavor, but they remained determined to find the ideal fit. Finally, their efforts paid off when they encountered Lucy, a serene and young puppy with captivating, soulful eyes. The children fell in love with her first and stopped to interact with her at the shelter. The parents saw Lucy licking their kids' fingers and immediately knew that she was the pet their family needed. Before long, the adoption went through, and they were able to bring their lovely new dog home. The dog acclimated well to the environment and was raised to be quiet and obedient. Lucy made it through her infancy with virtually no hiccups. She was well trained and even more well loved. She never showed any signs of aggression, and she even loved doing tricks. Thanks to the quick work when she was young, she was trained from the get-go not to bark. As Lucy grew up and could be trusted more, she began to be very popular in the surrounding neighborhood. Old and young people alike would break out into big smiles when they saw her on her walks. Everyone wanted the chance to give her a pet or a treat, to the point where the parents had to monitor Lucy's food intake to make sure she wasn't living off of treats alone. Time marched its relentless walk forward, and eventually Lucy's household shrank to include only her and the parents. Both of the children were grown and went off to pursue higher education in other parts of South Africa, so Lucy became the golden child of the house. It did not take long for the dog to settle into that new position, and oh boy did she enjoy it. Lucy was the belle of the ball, both at home and outside on walks. The parents were very impressed with her continued good behavior, even after a big life change like two people moving out of the house. They realized that Lucy was so good that she could be trained to walk off leash on walks. This training became the parents' hyperfixation as they worked to keep themselves busy so as not to feel their children's absence. Lucy was happy as ever to have more attention and more privileges, and diligently followed their instructions. Before long, the year had passed and Lucy had become the walking off-leash pro. She knew not to veer towards the road, to stay beside her humans, and even not to approach other animals without permission. With her responsibility and competency on full display, the parents had to remind themselves that at the end of the day, she was still just a dog, and not some advanced higher intellectual being. Her obedient disposition was wildly impressive. During the training period, the whole neighborhood jumped in to help. The neighbors learned when it was appropriate to engage with Lucy and when to let her focus on training. After that year, she was practically considered the neighborhood pet. Unfortunately, life cannot always be perfect, and Lucy started acting very odd one summer. She was slower, gaining weight, and uncharacteristically lethargic. The parents were immediately concerned. How had their amazing pet gone through such a transformation, seemingly overnight? The parents sat and brainstormed together to try to identify if there had been any big changes recently or stresses that may have upset Lucy. They thought and thought about it, but could not think of any triggering incident. But surely Lucy would not simply have a personality 180 overnight for no reason. Walks became tense times, when before they had always been such fun. Moreover, Lucy did not always want to walk. When she was done, she would sit on the ground and refuse to move, no matter where they were. The parents found this distressing. Lucy had not ever done that before, not even as a tiny puppy. Soon, the whole neighborhood noticed that something was wrong with their family's favorite four-legged animal. Lucy was slow and disinterested in interacting with any of the neighbors or their animals. Everyone agreed to keep an eye on her, which ended up being her saving grace. One day, the parents allowed Lucy a quick pee break, a routine they embedded into their mid-morning schedule. Normally, Lucy would stay close to the house as they knew she wouldn't wander off. However, on this particular morning, she surprised them by darting away, causing great distress to her parents. Fortunately, the neighborhood watch was alert, and a concerned neighbor a few streets away contacted the couple. They learned that Lucy was found in front of a sidewalk drain, refusing to move. Hastening to their dog's side, the parents were shocked by her weakened and exhausted appearance. Lucy seemed frantic, raising everyone's concern. Clearly, something had happened, but what was it? They worried whether she was ill or had been attacked. The mystery left them anxious to uncover the truth. In their quest for the truth, the parents attempted to bring Lucy home, but she stubbornly refused to leave her spot by the drain. When they tried to pick her up, an unprecedented change came over her. Lucy growled and barked at her beloved owners. Perplexed by this unexpected behavior, the parents stepped back to devise a new plan to assist Lucy. It was evident that something was seriously amiss, and she wouldn't act this way without a valid reason. Despite their efforts, they couldn't discern what had captured Lucy's attention down the drain. Realizing they needed professional help, a neighbor reached out to a rescue team. Responding swiftly, the team decided that lifting the entire manhole cover was the best course of action to investigate the matter. Understanding the cause of Lucy's distress was essential for providing the appropriate support, and the devoted parents hoped that once they unraveled the mystery, they could help their furry friend in the best possible way. During the rescue, one person lifted the manhole cover while others held on to Lucy to keep her safe. Lucy struggled fiercely, as if trying to jump into the hole. Everyone looked inside and was shocked to find sweet Lucy had just given birth to a litter of puppies. Her owners were astonished as they hadn't realized she was pregnant. It became clear she must have met a male dog during one of her unsupervised outings. Now her odd behavior had a reasonable explanation. Her tiredness was from carrying the puppies. That morning, she ran away in fear when she experienced her first delivery pains. Gratefully, the delivery had been a success. However, during the birthing process, the tiny puppies accidentally slipped down the drain. It became clear why Lucy refused to leave that spot. Her newborns were waiting below, but fortunately, they were unharmed. One by one, the rescuers carefully retrieved the tiny creatures and reunited them with their mother. Lucy, finally at ease, joyfully introduced her precious pups to the humans who cared for her. Filled with astonishment and love, the compassionate parents decided to take Lucy and her adorable offspring home. They marveled at how their family had grown once again. While they had been missing their own children, they now had a whole new family to nurture and cherish. If you had managed to uncover the reason behind Lucy's peculiar behavior, how would you react to your once sweet and obedient dog barking and growling at you? We're eager to hear your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.